Li Yun Xiao and Duan Yue join the hunting party to capture the Violet Nine-striped moth, only for things to go wrong as the party betrays them. Of course, the reincarnated soul successfully uses his wits to finesse the six martial grandmasters back. However, a martial emperor named Han Yuan appears to steal the sixth-tier beast, killing the hunting party in the process. Yun Xiao and Duan Yue manage to escape by the skin of their teeth, only to eventually end up in a deep-sea region ruled by the Blazefish tribe. Seeing their beloved tribe chief kneel before a human, the sea folk rush to check up on him. Even Yun Xiao is confused, not wanting Tia Pin to do such a thing at his age, even if he respects him greatly. Duan Yue takes it a step further, deciding that there won't be any trouble for him if he moves outside the panel. Right then, the martial emperor orders Tia Ling, Tia Fan, and Tia Fei to join him in kneeling before Yun Xiao too, leaving the humans worrying for his mental well-being. As if to prove their concerns right, Tia Pin erupts into tears and starts calling Yun Xiao the holy emissary. Despite this being his second life, the reincarnated soul has no clue what the old fish is talking about. Regardless, Tia Pin commands the three sea folk present there to greet the holy emissary immediately. Not appreciating the looks of disdain from the trio, Yun Xiao commands the tribe chief to hurry up and quickly explain what's going on. Instead, overcome with emotion, Tia Pin grabs the boy's hands and expresses his gratitude for getting the chance to meet the holy emissary before he kicks the bucket. Still as clueless as before, Yun Xiao keeps staring at the old fish blankly, finally calming him down a bit. Composing himself, Tia Pin asks everyone present if they are aware of the Blazefish tribe's origins. As none of them know anything, the tribe leader explains that even though the Blazefish tribe can't compare to the True Soul's descendants, their status is far more than an unknown random tribe. He then questions if anyone knows about the Congo Divine Tree's origins, but the three sea folk are unaware of that too. Stop talking in riddles, old man. Just spill the tea. However, Yun Xiao knows that the Congo Divine Tree was a true soul phoenix's resting place in ancient times. During a phoenix's reincarnation cycle, the tree burned and then revitalized itself. This process took place over and over, turning it into what they know today as the Congo Divine Tree. Since Yun Xiao has the true soul phoenix's flames within him, it would make sense for him to have a sort of special status now. Tia Pin confirms this thought, re-declaring him as the holy emissary. Turns out, the Blazefish tribe were just regular old sea dwellers in ancient times until one day, a true soul phoenix reached nirvana on the Congo Divine Tree, purely by chance in that exact region. The flames of his reincarnation accidentally spread to a member of the ancient Blazefish tribe, seemingly killing them. In reality, though, the ancestor didn't die at all, instead undergoing massive changes with the phoenix's divine flame. From then onwards, it gained sharpened senses and a heightened affinity to fire. Even the ancestor's body transformed, evolving to become more suitable for training with fire. And so, they went on to become a martial sovereign, making the Blazefish tribe a force to be reckoned with. Having never heard this tale before, Tia Fan and Tia Fei question why no one else in the Blazefish tribe has broken through to the Nine Heavens realm since then. Unfortunately, Tia Pin thinks that it's because their bloodline is weakening. The flames that changed their ancestors' whole body, including their blood, are becoming thinner as generations go on. It has gotten to the point that their bloodline is no longer enough to break through to even the 8 Desolation realm. Tia Pin worries that the 7 Constellations realm is getting out of their reach too, meaning that the Blazefish tribe might eventually return to being mere sea dwellers. Hearing these words, the 3 sea folk fall into a depression. However, Tia Pin declares that there is no need to worry anymore, as the heavens have brought them their holy emissary. Earlier, when Yun Xiao unleashed the Phoenix of Projection, it warmly enveloped the martial emperor, activating the dormant ancient power flowing through his veins. So Tia Fan wonders if the boy really has a phoenix's divine flames on him. Utterly shocked by the entire thing, Duan Yue looks toward Yun Xiao. A true soul phoenix is supposed to be an ancient legend, but the ancient legend's very existence hasn't even been verified. So to meet a seafolk tribe who was empowered by a phoenix's divine flames is a huge deal to Duan Yue. To top things off, a legendary item that can apparently burn everything and allow a person to enter the reincarnation cycle is now in a teenager's hands. Baffling everyone present, Yun Xiao confirms that he does, in fact, possess the Phoenix's divine flames. Tia Pin tears up and falls to his knees yet again, repeatedly thanking the heavens for sending their holy emissary to them. Reaching out to the martial emperor, Yun Xiao questions how he can actually help. After all, even with the divine flames in his possession, it's not like he can give them a sizzle, just for the fun of it. However, Tia Pin has faith that the heavens have brought him there to help the Blazefish tribe. Seeing his tribe chief in such a state, Tia Fan kneels before Yun Xiao, apologizing for all his actions up till this point. He wants the boy to do as he pleases to him, to make up for it. Embarrassed, Yun Xiao declares that all the kneeling's unnecessary, especially since he still isn't sure about how to help them. What the reincarnated soul can promise them, though, is that achieving the two things he mentioned in the last episode won't be a problem if they can get into the Kungo Divine Tree. Go watch it if you haven't, my pookies, remembering that their ancestor came into contact with the divine flames inside the Kungo Divine Tree too. Tia Pin deems it to be the key to their salvation. Brimming with excitement, the martial emperor wants to hold a welcome party as a celebration of the arrival of their holy emissary. However, Yun Xiao stops him and starts heading for the Kungo Divine Tree, accompanied by Tia Pin, Tia Ling, Tia Fan, Tia Fei, and of course, Duan Yue. While traversing through the eerily silent deep sea region, Yun Xiao recognizes it as a dead zone. Ironically, the overflowing life energy in the water seems to irritate life, implying that they are edging ever closer to the location of the Kungo Divine Tree. Right then, a voice calls out from the distance, belonging to a member of the Razor Clam tribe. Questioning the identity of the intruders, the voice tells them to stop. Tia Fan asks the holy emissary if he has ever seen any razor clams before, making him remember how he killed a ton of them while feeling from the East Sea in his past life. Of course, Yun Xiao feigns ignorance in front of everyone. Moving on to more important matters, Tia Pin wonders if they should just force their way through the razor clams, since the Kungo Divine Tree is only 150 miles away. Yun Xiao confidently gives him the go-ahead, on account of their strength, not thinking that they would get unlucky enough to come across two 9-star martial grandmasters together in such a vast region. He orders the sea folk to kill anyone who dares to stand in their way, prompting Tia Pin to praise his wisdom. Not wanting to waste their holy emissary's time, the martial emperor commands Tia Fei to finish the job ASAP. Glad to obey the former's orders, the latter brings out his trident, spinning it around to unleash his raging signature technique, Water Vortex. As the move sweeps up all the razor clams, Yun Xiao orders the forces to speed up. With this, he and the three sea folks zoom past the region, not running into any more enemies on the way. While moving around, Yun Xiao spreads out his universal detect. At the bottom of the sea, he finds a colossal tree, expanding in all directions like a huge ancient city. Even the reincarnated soul is left awestruck at the sight, but he does wonder why the Kungo Divine Tree is underwater, when it's supposed to be a place for the phoenix to start its reincarnation cycle. Turns out, the Kungo Divine Tree used to be on top of an island. However, the land shifted as time passed, sending it underwater. After satiating his curiosity, Yun Xiao puts everyone on high alert, revealing that there are many razor clams residing inside their destination. He orders the sea folk to follow him, promising that the enemy won't be able to find them as long as they can get inside the Kungo Divine Tree. Soon, the group reaches their destination, getting awestruck by the scene, easily detecting the unique energy flowing inside the mysterious thick and gelatinous liquid in the area. Yun Xiao feels his true chi expand and rise. While he enjoys the feeling, Tia Pin panics. With tears in his eyes, he announces that the idiotic razor clams are destroying the Kungo Divine Tree. Turns out, the weird liquid is actually the sap of the legendary item. Thank the heavens, it wasn't something else. Wait, what? Tia Pin cries out, wondering how he can face the ancestors of the Blazefish tribe now. Yun Xiao tells him to calm down as there's no point in crying over spilled milk. The reincarnated soul wants to understand the situation before making any decisions and starts theorizing. He deduces that the razor clams are directly using the sap of the Kungo Divine Tree to increase their whole tribe's strength at once. Since their talents are already better than the Blazefish tribe, doing such a thing will definitely put them in a dominant position. Although Yun Xiao detects many strong presences inside the tree, he can't pinpoint their exact locations due to them being hidden inside the Congo Divine Tree. As the destruction started a while ago, he wants to continue after they get inside as well. However, the group is stopped by a bunch of razor clams, who reprimand them for intruding on their forbidden lands. Unfazed, Yun Xiao simply orders his group to brute force their way into the tree, deciding to make their next moves on the fly. Being the nice guy that he is, the boy questions if anyone has any problems with the plan, wreaking havoc on the razor clams, Tia Fan, Tia Ling, Tia Fei, and Duan Yue shout out in unison, none at all. Heading inside the Congo Divine Tree, Yun Xiao deems that finding the spirit-nourishing wood is the most urgent matter, since it is made up of large amounts of concentrated life spirit. Within the Congo Divine Tree, the spirit-nourishing wood is only found near its core. However, Yun Xiao decides to not be impatient, as just cutting their way into the core is a surefire way to attract enemies. So, the group marches onward. Suddenly, Yun Xiao gets blasted by a ton of the Congo Divine Tree's sap, causing his cultivation to rise. Undergoing a similar phenomenon, the phoenix's true fire deep within his soul riles up as well. Unaware of this, Duan Yue questions if Yun Xiao is alright, announcing that he is all good. The reincarnated soul flies toward the waterfall of sap, leaking from the Congo Divine Tree's branch. Touching the exterior of the essence, Yun Xiao forms a creation link, absorbing its chi into his body. A feeling of nourishment starts flowing through him, turning the unlimited yuan chi of the sap into his true chi. The ancient phoenix's flames undergo the same phenomenon too, replenishing within the boy's soul. Marveling at the worldly treasure, Yun Xiao feels furious at the razor clams for destroying the divine object. Right then, Tia Pin informs the holy emissary of the Congo Divine Tree's 3 outer layers and 3 inner ones. As they are currently standing at the divide between them, they will enter the inner layers by proceeding further. Since the group hasn't met any razor clams on their way there, the martial emperor deduces that they are all training within the inner 3 layers. Of course, Yu Xiao already knows that, having sensed many strong presences inside, with his universal detect, the razor clams are expending the Congo Divine Tree's entire power to raise the strength of their entire tribe at once, realizing the tale of the goose that laid the golden eggs. However, unlike the story, it's actually increasing their strength rapidly, making it above what Yun Xiao previously estimated. Nah, blood is washed. He would have predicted things right in his prime. Hearing this, Tia Pin panics yet again and wonders what they should do. Not wanting to waste a single second more, the reincarnated soul starts moving. After all, it is a race to see who can acquire the resources first. However, a member of the Razor Clam tribe overhears Yun Xiao talking. Praising the latter's way of thinking, the former threatens to kill him to make sure he isn't alive to carry it out. The Razor Clam also mocks the Blazefish tribe members for being sea dweller trash, declaring that they should thank them for using the Congo Divine Tree for a good cause. Tia Fan, Tia Ling, Tia Fei, and Tia Pin all are enraged at getting mocked like this. The martial emperor reminds the insolent Razor Clam that his tribe's strongest member was a mere peak 9-star martial grandmaster when they first entered the South Sea, so he could have easily killed them back then, but decided not to. However, that very mercy has come back to bite him now, as the Razor Clams bit the very hand that fed them. Boasting about his tribe's peak status back when they were in the East Sea, the Razor Clam deems the Blazefish tribe unfit to even carry his shoes, proudly proclaiming that the Sea Dwellers should consider it a glorious opportunity to present them with the Divine Tree. The Razor Clam threatens to kill the group for even daring to talk back to him. In response, Tia Ling laughs in his face, mocking the Razor Clam tribe's experts for losing to a single human and coming all the way to the South Sea to run away from him. What she was aiming for comes to fruition, as her comment hits the Razor Clam right where it hurts. Making the marine refiner pay for her insolence, the enemy unleashes a black hole of sorts, pulling everyone towards him like a vortex. Witnessing the pressure, Tia Fan realizes that the Razor Clam is a 9-star martial grandmaster. Lo and behold, the holy emissary was correct all along. The Razor Clam's power has been underestimated, as all of their strengths shot up exponentially after getting a hold of the Congo Divine Tree. While Tia Fan worries about that, Tia Pin tells him to get out of the way and charges up an attack. The former expresses concern about the latter's body, getting told that it's fine, vowing to kill all the Razor Clams before kicking the buckets. Feeling the immense power, the 9-star martial grandmaster realizes that he is up against none other than the Blazefish tribe chief and starts panicking. After striking fear in the Razor Clam's heart, Tiandang prepares to make him meet his demise. Ripping apart the enemy's vortex with brute force alone, the martial emperor isn't willing to let him go just yet, and charges forward, smushing the ever-living crap out of the Razor Clam's face. Even in such a state, the cocky fish doubles down and calls the Blazefish tribe's sea dwellers yet again. Bro really trying his hardest to end up in a top 10 moments before disaster compilation. Getting attacked so blatantly, he wonders if they are really not afraid of the Razor Clam tribe's wrath, a word that simply makes Tiandang humph. Declaring that it's now time for them to suffer the wrath of the Blazefish tribe, the martial emperor unleashes his twin-star jade technique, granting the Razor Clam a horrific death. As his dead foe's bodily material comes raining down, Tiandang falls to his knees. The 3 sea folk come running to their exhausted tribe chief, feeling deeply concerned about his state. While Tiandang regrets not even being able to take care of a mere 9-star martial grandmaster, Tiandang calls out to the holy emissary. Sweating out of his mind, he feels his life slipping away. The martial emperor leaves the Blazefish tribe's future to Li Yun Xiao, putting Tiandang in charge of leading him to the core of the Congo divine tree. Right then, the reincarnated soul smacks the tribe chief's head away, making the sea folks' eyes pop out of their heads. Holding some of the Congo divine tree's essence in his hands, Li Yun Xiao tells Tiandang to stop talking like he's about to die, since only his life force is running out. After all, the place they are in possesses the densest life force in the world, making dying due to the lack of it extremely difficult. Li Yun Xiao then forces something down Tiandang's throat, upon seeing which Tiandang threatens to kill him. However, the tribe chief orders the seaman to stop. Tiandang is awestruck, as his body has never felt lighter in what feels like forever. Everyone is brought to tears by this miracle, except Li Yun Xiao, of course. Nonchalantly walking away, the reincarnated soul tells Tiandang to hurry up and lead the way. Thanking the holy emissary, the martial emperor playfully scolds his fellow sea folk for crying when he isn't dead yet, and ecstatically starts leading the way to the center. Shocked by the instant recovery, Tiandang is left wondering if this is the result of mankind's extraordinary medicinal techniques, unaware that this is just a patchwork fix. Li Yun Xiao informs Tiandang of this fact via private sound transmission, revealing that he has only stopped his body from deteriorating temporarily. So, the reincarnated soul will set up a formation to help him recover 100 years of his lifespan, where the group gets to the core. However, if the martial emperor were to attack again, before getting there, it would be out of Li Yun Xiao's hands to stop him from dying. With countless doubts erupting in his mind, Tiandang looks toward the boy, with eyes full of worries, getting told to stop doing that, and just hurry up since a few strong presences are approaching them. Moments after Li Yun Xiao and his party leave, a group of razor clams arrives at the crime scene. Their tribe leader, a martial emperor named Dalei, quickly spots 6 different energy signatures over the dead body of his fallen ally, noting that the weakest one is a great martial master, while the strongest one is a martial emperor. Panicking at the thought of going up against such a formidable foe, Dalei's underlings wonder if they should inform the other elders too. However, he tells them not to disturb their seclusion. After all, the intruder's energies dictate that the martial emperor is only at the 1-star level, while the other 5 don't pose a threat at all. One of the razor clams starts rambling, implying through his words that this isn't the first divine tree that their tribe has absorbed, though it is the largest one that can probably keep them nourished for another century. He mocks the low-tier Blazefish tribe for not utilizing such wealth when they had it, a sentiment that Dalei agrees with. Are they even wrong, though? The martial emperor vows to use the worldly treasure to produce a couple of martial sovereigns in 100 years. So, even if they can't recover to their peak from 30 years ago, it will be enough for them to take revenge on all the ungrateful tribes in the East Sea. Suddenly, a razor clam asks Dalei what they should do about the intruders, getting told to leave them alone for the time being, since they have a martial emperor. Citing the vastness of the Congo divine tree, Dalei understands that they wouldn't be able to consume it if it weren't for the Hoverbat tribe's support. As such, it is none of their concern. Who else gets to keep a share of the divine tree's abundant resources, as long as it doesn't mess up the Razor Clam tribe's plans? Glazing their elders' great judgment, the underlings head out to continue patrolling. Back over with Li Yun Xiao. Tia Pin excitedly informs him that they are very close to the Kumdo Divine Tree's core, so they can hide themselves to cultivate as soon as they find the correct path. Duan Yue questions what he means by that, getting told that no one in the Blazefish tribe was able to understand the Kumdo Divine Tree's internal layout completely, even when they possessed it. Here it is. Yun Xiao's voice suddenly echoes out throughout the area, opening a passageway within the Kumdo Divine Tree. The boy asks Tia Pin if it is the path that he is talking about. The tribe chief can't help but wonder how the holy emissary did such a thing, considering the tree trunk is riddled with countless holes, and even blocks universal detect. Turns out, Yun Xiao doesn't know how he found the hidden path either. The reincarnated soul just knew, making him think that the true Should Phoenix's flames have something to do with it. As they continue following the path, TFA gets shocked by the surroundings along the way, making Duan Yue doubt if the Blazefish tribe has ever even entered the Kumdo Divine Tree before. Moments later, Yun Xiao announces that they have arrived at the place and asks Tia Ling to help him set up the formation. The two refiners work together in unison, soon completing it. Curious about what the formation actually is, Tia Ling inquires about it. The girl also wonders how the formation works, as a few of its parts go against the basic rules of formations. Praising her eye for detail, Yun Xiao explains that it's a simplified creation link formation that absorbs soul chi and converts it into a martial artist's true chi. As worldly treasures became rarer with time, this formation was forgotten. However, people were unaware that the four seas still contained many treasures. So, Yun Xiao promises to teach the creation link formation to Tia Ling when they leave, receiving her sincere gratitude. Meanwhile, Duan Yue wonders if such a formation can really help them break through, getting told not to look down on it since ancient powers often used it. With the thinning of Yuan Qi though, this formation can now only be used on treasures in the sea. Regardless, the old man should just stop being a doubter and get in the creation link formation. And so everyone sits down to reap the Kumdo Divine Tree's benefits. Just moments later, Tia Pin is brought to tears by the strong sensation of soul chi flowing within and around him. Heck, he feels like swimming around in the sea of soul chi, as the absorbed energy converts into true chi for his body. Tia Fei and Tia Fawn undergo the same nirvana, with the latter's injured sea of chi rapidly repairing itself. Having experienced such a thing, Tia Fawn is convinced that he can even become a martial sovereign if he could train there for only a year. Everyone getting plot armor at this point. While the sea folks celebrate, Yun Xiao sighs out, being aware that even many more Kumdo Divine Trees wouldn't be able to withstand the absorption of the creation link formation for such a long time. Let alone a year, the current one wouldn't even last 10 days, with 8 people using it simultaneously. Since the formation directly extracts soul chi from worldly treasures, it is even more destructive than the Razor Clam tribe's method of chopping down the Kumdo Divine Tree for its essence. After all, the legendary item can recover after being chopped, but it can't do the same if its soul chi is completely extracted. Even if the Kumdo Divine Tree had countless years to recover fully, it would remain a giant piece of dead wood after this. Yun Xiao doesn't know what the Blazefish tribe would think if they knew this, so he decides not to tell them since they can't afford any hesitation. Shortly after, Yun Xiao breaks through to become a 3-star Great Martial Master, leaving even himself impressed at the speed. Right then, he looks over to Duan Yue, only to see him sitting depressed. Yun Xiao approaches him and questions what's going on, as his true chi hasn't changed even one bit since they began. With a melancholic expression on his face, Duan Yue reveals that his body has been sealed. Instantly, Yun Xiao rips apart the old man's shirt, finding the 3 directions Gusty Curse seal on his chest. Utterly shocked by the boy's words, Duan Yue questions how he knows what it is. A grin filled with intrigue spreads across Yun Xiao's face, and he asks the old man about the identity of the person who sealed him. Not answering the query directly, Duan Yue notes that Yun Xiao should be able to guess it himself if he recognizes the seal. After all, not many people can cast it to begin with. The poor 7-star martial grandmaster reveals that he has searched far and wide for a master refiner who could help him, only to meet disappointment. Ignoring his ramblings, Yun Xiao starts listing the people who could cast the seal. Hui, Qian Shu, Mo Xiao Chuan, Jun Ru Yun, Hao Lian Xiao Huang. He excludes Yang Di from the list though, citing his inability to do such a thing. Duan Yue wonders if it's possible to undo the seal only to get ignored again. Looking like a villain brimming with curiosity, Yun Xiao reveals that the Three Directions Ghost Eye Curse seal not only prevents its target from cultivating, but also constantly devours the cultivation that they possess, as this would mean that Duan Yue was above 7-star martial grandmaster in the past. The reincarnated soul questions how strong he truly was. Maybe the old man was a 9-star martial grandmaster, or he was a martial emperor. This time though, Yun Xiao's query doesn't get answered. Filled with sadness, Duan Yue reveals that the person who sealed him is none other than Hao Li Yun Xiao Huang of the city of mercenaries Qingge Forest. In the past, the old man was a mercenary in the same place as well. However, he made the unfortunate mistake of offending Hao Li Yun Xiao Huang, who sealed him instead of killing him like he was going to. Whether it was mercy or not, Duan Yue doesn't know for sure. What the geezer does know is that he's been trying to break through the cursed seal for many years, only to fail miserably over and over again. Even right now, Duan Yue is risking his life to earn money in Verdant's seaport, so that he can save up to consult an expert from the deity Transformation Sea. For the first time in forever though, the old man feels hopeful. After all, if Yun Xiao knows so much about the seal, he must also know how to undo it. Meanwhile, the reincarnated soul gets annoyed at the Xiao Huan brat, feeling pissed off at the kids still causing him trouble even in his second life. Duan Yue asks the boy to just answer without talking in riddles for once, questioning if he can undo the seal or not. Finally, Yun Xiao gives a direct response, remarking that the method to undo the seal is really simple. In fact, the old man can even do it himself. Hearing these words, Duan Yue falls to his knees. Clutching the reincarnated soul's legs, the geezer rambles on about not getting a good night's sleep ever since the curse seal was put on him. He pathetically begs the boy to reveal the method. However, what Yun Xiao says next leaves everyone present in utter disbelief. Turns out, the seal will automatically be undone if Duan Yue simply castrates himself. RIP in the comments for bro's lil bro. The sea folk burst out laughing at the reincarnated soul's words, while Duan Yue is overcome with despair. Citing his terrible situation, he asks his young master Yun to stop joking around, only for him to say that it isn't a joke at all. The ancient seal was accidentally discovered by Hao Li Yun Xiao Huang's master, Gu Feiyang, who mercifully changed it a little to enable its victims a way to break it, of course, as long as they are willing to. In his time, Gu Feiyang used the Three Directions Ghost Eye Curse seal on many people. Most of them understandably went into hiding, never to be seen again. However, a martial sovereign named Run Bu Bai castrated himself, undoing the seal. While the sea folk are enraged by hearing Gu Feiyang's name, Duan Yue forgets the situation he is in and begins chomping down on a watermelon. Apparently, the old man has heard of Run Bu Bai, knowing him as a short-tempered expert who's into pretty boys. Oh, and he also kills people for fun. Suddenly, the realization hits Duan Yue, badmouthing Gu Feiyang for inventing such a torturous move. The old man slices apart a watermelon, hoping that the martial sovereign dies a terrible death just like it. Not appreciating getting disrespected like this, Yun Xiao comes up with an excuse that Gu Feiyang is the person he respects the most. Glazing himself, the reincarnated soul praises his own unparalleled achievements, well-respected status, and handsome looks that appear once in a millennium. With an infuriated look, Yun Xiao tells the old man to either stop slandering Gu Feiyang or just go castrate himself. Meanwhile, behind the boy, Tiandang throws up after hearing all these nice things about the sea folk's worst enemy. The reincarnated soul's spidey sense starts tingling, and he turns around with a ferocious look, but the marine refiner pulls a fast one on him, heading back to cultivate like nothing happened. Right then, it hits Duan Yue that Yun Xiao said the word "or" while scolding him before, meaning that there's a way to undo the seal without castrating himself. Yun Xiao confirms this, but refuses to reveal the actual method since the old man was being disrespectful to Lord Gu Feiyang. Seeing their holy emissary holding so much respect for the sea folk's mortal enemy, Tia Pin is overcome with conflicted feelings. At the same time, Duan Yue's heart erupts with immense martial passion for his lord and savior Gu Feiyang, blazing in harder than ever Yun Xiao. Feeling disgusted by a naked old man singing praises for him, Yun Xiao tells him to stop and put his shirt on first. Finally, the boy decides to tell Duan Yue the truth revealing that the Three Directions Ghost Eye Curse Seal requires the caster's blood to be undone. Since acquiring Li Yun Xiao's blood is practically impossible, the old man prepares to end things once and for all. Yun Xiao shouts at him, revealing that he isn't finished speaking. Being the master refiner that he is, the reincarnated soul can teach Duan Yue a secret technique that will allow him to break the seal for half an hour each day. Just barely escaping death, the 7-star Martial Grandmaster inquires if they can really unseal his body without the Martial Supreme's blood. Yun Xiao assures Duan Yue that it's true, also promising to present him with Li Yun Xiao's neck to take his blood in due time as long as he continues to obey him. With this, it's time for the geezer to pay attention and learn the secret technique that will allow him to cultivate normally, making it so it won't be much different than if he didn't have the seal at all. Despite this, Duan Yue still has doubts in his mind. After all, if Yun Xiao really had the ability to make Li Yun Xiao submit to him, staying in the Dust Flame Empire of all places would make no sense. However, if it really is true, then half an hour with his strength fully restored is plenty of time to accomplish a lot. So, Duan Yue sits down with Yun Xiao to learn the technique. The foreigner remains unaware that the latter is actually glad that he has been sealed with the Three Directions Ghost Eye Curse Seal, since the geezer now has to follow him until it is completely lifted. The reincarnated soul feels thankful to Li Yun Xiao, who has done an extremely great favor for his teacher. Meanwhile, in the city of mercenaries Qingga Forest, sounds of moans echo throughout the area on an otherwise quiet night. Inside a tent, a few girls complain to their lord Li Yun for suddenly stopping, wanting more and more of him. The Martial Supreme reveals that he has suddenly remembered his late master, though he doesn't know why. My guy really thinking of a man while being with a woman? What giga-chad? While stroking the face of one of the girls beside him, Xiao Huang reminisces about Gu Feiyang being a giga-chad, who never chased a woman, even when he was surrounded by beauties. However, the Martial Supreme feels that his late master's way of living was foolish, since taking every girl one sees for himself is how life should be lived. Completely misunderstanding his comment, the idiotic girls start making fun of Gu Feiyang. While praising Xiao Huang, they pile on his late master and make snarky remarks about his manhood. All of them pile on Xiao Huang's late master, flying snarky remarks about his manhood. Right then, the fire cauldrons lighting the place go out. Xiao Huang furiously gets up, announcing that he forgives the girls this time. However, if they were to speak ill of his late master again, they would not live to see another day. Completely getting his mood ruined, Xiao Huang heads out, leaving the girls to settle things themselves, if they still want more. Wearing his jacket, the peak 9-star Martial Supreme remembers that his master's death anniversary is coming up soon, and so Gu Feiyang's handsome fourth disciple vows to head to the Tiandang Mountains to search for the truth when he breaks through to the Nine Heavens realm. Just like that, a few days pass and Yun Xiao enjoys his extravagant cultivation that he didn't get to experience even in his past life. Right as the reincarnated soul feels that he's about to break through and become a 4-star Great Martial Master, something alerts him. Everyone sitting within the formation stands up as a razor clam shows up there to reprimand them for stealing the Congo Divine Tree's soul chi. He demands that they hand over the formation's diagram, declaring dire consequences either way. Suddenly, Tia Pin shouts out, recognizing the enemy as the Razor Clam's tribe chief, Da Meng, who has somehow become a martial emperor. Telling the Blazefish tribe chief to smartly hand over the formation's diagram, the Razor Clam promises to forgive their crimes on account of Tia Pin's status as a martial emperor. Only if he cooperates, though. Da Meng is under the impression that the Blazefish tribe is working with humans, as a person broke into the Congo Divine Tree just a few days ago. Of course, the idiotic fish couldn't be more wrong, since the one he is talking about is Hung Yuan. Refusing to accept his offer, Tia Pin reprimands Da Meng for destroying the Congo Divine Tree, announcing the Blazefish and Razor Clam tribes to be sworn enemies from now on. Not feeling the least bit guilty, Da Meng is of the view that treasures belong to the strong. After all, the Blazefish tribe had the Congo Divine Tree for tens of thousands of years, but embarrassingly remained stuck at the 5th tier. On the other hand, the Razor Clan tribe has made remarkable improvements in the little time they have possessed the legendary item. In fact, Da Meng himself was only a 9-star martial grandmaster when he came from the East Sea, but now stands strong as a 2-star martial emperor. It's like a bargain sale for martial emperors around here. Hearing this, Tia Pin once again laments not getting rid of the razor clams when they came to the South Sea. Unfortunately, it's too late. Not only is Da Meng a 2-star martial emperor, whose entire tribe is reaching his prime, but Tia Pin is an old and out-of-shape 1-star martial emperor, leaving him no chance of winning against the enemy. Right then, Yun Xiao sends a private sound transmission to the tribe chief, instructing him to hold off Da Meng as much as he can. Turns out, Tia Fan is about to break through, so as long as Tia Pin can buy enough time, he would be able to join him to defeat Da Meng together. Hearing Yun Xiao's words, the martial emperor turns around to look at Tia Fan and sees him trying his best to cultivate. Tia Pin then gazes at the other sea folk standing in the formation, recognizing them as the future of the Blazefish tribe. With this, he gets prepared to protect them, even if it costs him his life to do so. Just like that, Tia Pin shifts his focus back to Da Meng, who is still busy hurling threats at him. Without giving the Razor Clam a chance to even finish his sentence, the tribe chief sends him flying with a full force attack, announcing that he will only get the formation diagram over his dead body. Despite getting slammed into the Divine Tree's branches, the 2-star martial emperor remains unfazed by Tia Pin's attack and questions if he is really delusional enough to kill him or is just trying to buy some time. Regardless, even if it is the latter case, Da Meng isn't worried one bit. After all, Tia Fan breaking through to the martial emperor won't make any difference in the outcome, which will be the Blazefish tribe's forces losing their lives at his hand. Heck, since they are so stubborn, Da Meng promises to teach them a lesson they won't forget even in death. As the battle rages on, Yun Xiao can only look on as a spectator. However, he is more worried about Hung Yuan entering the Congo Divine Tree and becoming a martial emperor than he is about the enemy in front of him. Meanwhile, Tia Fei fanboys over his strong tribe chief, who is somehow suppressing a 2-star martial emperor, and Tia Ling questions if her father is going to be alright. Suddenly, Yun Xiao shouts out, wondering what's everyone doing. Informing them that Tia Pin is just trying to buy time, the reincarnated soul instructs them to focus and increase their strengths as much as they can. Since Tia Pin's life force is depleting quickly, they only have a short amount of time left until he kicks the bucket. Tia Fan is also aware of this fact, causing him to tremble in rage and lose focus of his cultivation. Maintaining his calm demeanor, Yun Xiao tells the peak 9-star martial grandmaster not to panic, giving him thorough instructions on how to break through. The boy's powerful words strike Tia Fan like a bolt of lightning, causing him to relax and focus on circulating his energy. Soon, just like Yun Xiao told him to, Tia Fan conquers his heart as well as the devil. With this, the Yuan Qi concentrating inside his body transforms into true Qi. Looking on, Duman Yue can't believe that someone who is only on the verge of becoming a 4-star martial master could guide a peak 9-star martial grandmaster to make a breakthrough. After all, even if the roles were reversed, and Yun Xiao was the one with higher cultivation, guiding someone so casually, like he's your own student, is a nigh impossible feat in the world of martial arts. As the energy swirling around Tia Fan starts running wild, the reincarnated soul feels his own cultivation, nearing a breakthrough to 4 stars. Moments later, Tia Fan screams out, breaking through to finally become the long-anticipated 7 Constellations Realm Martial Emperor. The first thing he does afterward is bow to the holy emissary, thanking him for all he has done for them. Yun Xiao just nods his head in response, sending Tia Fan off to help Tia Pin. Right then, the boy himself breaks through, becoming a 4-star great martial master. Getting up, he tells everyone to get ready to run, since the 2 1-star martial emperors can't hold off Da Meng for long. Moreover, since the intense fighting has alerted other razor clams too, they can no longer afford to stay there. Concerned about Tia Pin and Tia Fan, Tia Ling asks Yun Xiao if they are really going to be okay. Much to the marine refiner's surprise, Duan Yue is the one who answers her query, telling her to continue cultivating in peace. Looking genuinely cool for like only the 2nd time since his introduction, the geezer confidently declares that they can leave the rest to him and joins the battle. Witnessing this, Yun Xiao lets out a smile. His earlier assessment proves to be true, as Duan Yue turns out to be a martial emperor in his unsealed state. At the same time, outside the Divine Tree, the battle between the 3 martial emperors riles up. Da Meng unleashes his Galaxy Purification, Vortex Blade technique, forming a drill out of his chi, striking down Tia Pin and Tia Fawn. The Razor Clam laments that he was originally going to leave the Blazefish tribe as his servants, but they chose death by acting rebellious instead. Da Meng's technique damages Tia Pin greatly, making him cough out a large amount of blood and clutch his heart in pain. While Tia Fawn goes to his aid, the two-star martial emperor announces today to be the day when the Blazefish tribe's history ends. Right then, Yuan Yue arrives at the scene, proclaiming that the one who is going to die is Da Meng. Removing his robe, the geezer claims that the tree belongs to his party now. With his eyes glowing with a mysterious light, Yuan Yue threatens to make seafood out of the razor clam. Hearing these words, Da Meng bursts out laughing. After all, a mere 7-star martial grandmaster is as threatening to him as an ant. Convinced that he doesn't even need martial techniques to kill Yuan Yue, the 2-star martial emperor attacks him with a mighty kick. Seemingly frozen in place, the old man is unable to dodge the incoming onslaught and gets struck down, blowing up into a cloud of smoke. Witnessing this sight, Tia Pin and Tia Fawn are overcome with despair, regretting that they couldn't protect their holy emissary's escort. Unbeknownst to them, Yuan Yue has blocked Da Meng's kick with nothing but his bare hands. Suddenly, the geezer starts laughing maniacally. After all, it's been ages since he has felt like this. The mark of the curse seal on Yuan Yue's chest fades, and he instantly breaks through to the 8-star martial grandmaster level. Da Meng is left in utter disbelief, remaining unaware of what is about to follow. The old man's cultivation keeps rising, making him a 9-star martial grandmaster. It doesn't stop there, taking him to the peak 9-star level and even further beyond, finally reaching his full glory as a martial emperor. Calling on the 3 directions Ghost Eye Curse Seal to unseal, Yuan Yue bursts into his signature white flames. With this, the feeble old man completely transforms. His body turns into that of a big, muscular man, possessing a glorious stature that even younglings would be jealous of. Having a ring of white fire hovering over his back, Yuan Yue casually snaps Da Meng's leg during the transformation process as punishment for kicking him with his dirty feet. Tia Fawn is left in utter disbelief at the scene, as the geezer somehow stands tall as a peak 1-star martial emperor, whose cultivation still doesn't stop rising. Taking a deep breath, Yuan Yue shouts out, announcing that not only is he finally back at his peak, but he even broke through, becoming a 2-star martial emperor. Regenerating his lost leg, Da Meng curses the human scam, but still feels confident that he can beat him. After all, his realm should still be unstable. However, the Razor Clam gets his ramblings ignored, as Yuan Yue only seems to be interested in the strange anatomy that lets him grow back a limb. Patrick Starved, is that you? Utterly furious by the disrespect, Da Meng unleashes his ultimate technique, Galaxy Purification, Double Vortex Demonic Flash. Twin blasts of extremely powerful chi charge toward the old man, but he sees them as mere petty tricks. Spinning his weapon around, Yuan Yue lets loose and hurls his White Flame Ghostly Killer, Divine Demon Extermination, at the Razor Clam's attack. Much to the latter's dismay, the former's technique completely blows past his own, taking his arms with it. As his wounds burn with Yuan Yue's white flames, Da Meng tries to regenerate his lost limbs, but to no avail. Advising the Razor Clam to stop wasting his energy, the old man reveals that his limbs won't grow back after being sealed by the white flames, no matter how good of an anatomy he has. Backed into a corner, Da Meng gives up on fighting back and starts calling for backup. Tia Pin realizes what he's doing and begs Yuan Yue to quickly kill him. Of course, the old man wasn't born yesterday and is already aware of that. Without delay, he pierces Da Meng's body with his white flames, ripping his entire being apart. However, even in such a state, the cocky Razor Clam laughs like a maniac. In his last words, Da Meng reveals that many members of his tribe will soon get there, as this will include 5 to 6 martial emperors. Yuan Yue's party is bound to die, no matter how much strength they possess. Even as Da Meng disintegrates, he continues to laugh. Da Meng dies just like that, and his spirit flies into the Congo Divine Tree. Unfazed by his threat, Yuan Yue declares that a pile of scum, at the end of the day, is still scum. Right then, the pile of scum he was talking about shows up to kill the intruders, while Tia Pin and Tia Fawn join Yuan Yue to help him vanquish the enemy. Li Yun Xiao starts heading off somewhere. Via private sound transmission, the reincarnated soul orders the martial emperors to just focus on killing as many razor clams as they can without minding what he is doing. Curious about what Yun Xiao is up to, Duan Yue pauses for a moment, but quickly refocuses on the battle at hand. Meanwhile, the boy starts digging into the Kumbo Divine Tree, cutting through the inner layers with his tiger husk blade. Yun Xiao soon reaches the core of the worldly treasure, where the spirit-nourishing wood awaits him. Although it hasn't fully formed, a large piece of spirit-nourishing wood is enough to be refined by Yun Xiao to save Meng Wu. Turns out, when Da Meng died, the reincarnated soul faintly felt the direction his spirit flew in, which ended up guiding him to the Congo Divine Tree's core. Since the spirit-nourishing wood evolves by absorbing wandering spirits for tens of thousands of years, the larger its size, the more difficult it is for it to mature. Very relatable. Wait, what are we talking about again? As the Congo Divine Tree's spirit-nourishing wood is yet to mature, Yun Xiao decides to wait until Duan Yue exterminates the entire razor clam tribe. In this way, it will improve its effects by absorbing the spirits of the fallen fish. Suddenly, Yun Xiao's train of thought gets broken by a mysterious voice, questioning if its chance is finally here. After tens of thousands of years, the reincarnated soul spreads his universal detect to find out who's there, only for him to not find anything at all. Yun Xiao is shocked that there's a being who can escape his universal detect, even within the Congo Divine Tree, but isn't even given a chance to catch his breath as a disturbance erupts from underneath his feet. Yun Xiao stares at the disturbance in a state of alert, only to hear the voice chuckle and tell him that there's no need to be afraid. Moments later, the Congo Divine Tree's essence erupts like a geyser, forcing the reincarnated soul to leap back. Out of the sap, an enormous wooden creature, possessing the appearance of an old man, reveals itself. Kneeling down on one knee, Yun Xiao recognizes the mysterious entity as the spirit of the Congo Divine Tree. Ironically, the strange wooden being deems Yun Xiao to be the strange one. Even though the teenager's strength isn't impressive at all, his soul power is as pure as someone who is over 100 years old, surprising the tree spirit. Since the old creature is the first one to discover the secret of his soul, the reincarnated soul slightly panics. Of course, he still focuses on the more important matter at hand, as this explains why the spirit-nourishing wood didn't form perfectly, even after tens of thousands of years. That is, the tree spirit absorbed everything coming its way. Yun Xiao half-rhetorically questions if the old entity is trying to devour his soul, getting assured that there is no need to worry. After all, the tree spirit can only absorb the souls of the dead, or of those without their consciousness intact. However, the old being does have a request for Yun Xiao. The reincarnated soul preemptively rejects it if the request has anything to do with not taking the spirit-nourishing wood, as Meng Wu's life depends on it. The tree spirit definitely would have requested that if it were anyone other than the boy, but he no longer needs the spirit-nourishing wood now that he has met him. Since the entity's body and soul chi are damaged beyond repair due to the razor clams and Yun Xiao's formation, he doesn't have long to live. Hearing this, the reincarnated soul assumes that the tree spirit wants to possess his body and goes on the defensive, only to get ruthlessly roasted on account of being a mere human, whose body isn't even as good as higher-level sea folk, let alone a great tree. What the tree spirit really wants is Yun Xiao's help to be reborn through fire. Despite instantly understanding what the old being is talking about, the boy tries to feign ignorance, not wanting to accidentally burn himself to ashes because of his lack of control of the phoenix's true fire. Turns out, that isn't a problem at all. Since the tree spirit has seen the true phoenix rebirth with his own eyes, he knows how to mobilize its fire. So, in exchange for Yun Xiao's help, the wooden creature promises to teach him how to refine the phoenix's flames. Not only that, but he will also transfer all of his remaining soul chi into the reincarnated soul's body, helping him break straight through to the martial lord level. Since the boy finds both these benefits extremely tempting, but still has doubts in his mind, the two little Yun Xiaos on his shoulders duke out for him. Listen to the left one, my goat. Listening to the curious side, he questions if there will be any discomfort for him during the rebirth process. Praising his cautiousness, the tree spirit assures Yun Xiao that he will be reborn with him, getting nothing but great benefits. Moreover, his tired body tempering technique will also get raised by at least one stage after the rebirth. Not getting anything past the tree spirit's sharp eyes, Yun Xiao does a cost-to-benefits analysis once more, as the physical strength of his body will increase by several types by advancing the tyrant body tempering technique to the next stage, the reincarnated soul's temptation increases, and he no longer finds any reason to refuse. Hearing this, the tree spirit asks one final thing of Yun Xiao, since he will return to his original sealing state and enter a deep sleep after rebirth. The old creature wants the boy to take him away to a safe place, with an abundant flow of soul qi, planting him there. As long as Yun Xiao helps him like this, the tree spirit promises to give him even greater benefits after waking up. Wishing for the old being to explain these benefits clearly, the reincarnated soul mischievously threatens to eat him if this is a lie. Not wanting to risk Yun Xiao getting any funny ideas, the tree spirit promises to give him a trace of Taiyi mystic qi if he can care for him until he wakes up. At first, the old being's words don't register properly in the boy's head, and he shrugs them off. However, as soon as the realization hits him, Yun Xiao gets right up in the tree spirit's face, unable to believe that he can actually cultivate Taiyi mystic qi. Pulling the reincarnated soul away from himself, the wooden creature reveals that he currently only possesses a trace of it, which he has refined into his own qi. After rebirth, though, the tree spirit would be able to cultivate a second and third trace of the Taiyi mystic qi. As such, he will give one of the traces to Yun Xiao as a reward. The boy quickly accepts the offer before the old being changes his mind, considering that Taiyi mystic qi is the primal energy born of chaos that existed at the start of the universe, even before the separation of yin and yang. Since all elements are evolved from it, obtaining a trace of such a legendary thing will greatly increase his odds of reaching martial deity. Moreover, only ancient true spirits could cultivate Taiyi mystic qi, but all of them have disappeared. Despite being influenced by the phoenix and cultivating for tens of thousands of years, the Kumgo divine tree only managed to refine a trace, making the chance to obtain it an opportunity that comes only once in 2 lifetimes. Bro out here inventing new rarity levels. Seeing Yun Xiao's enthusiasm, the tree spirit starts the process without delay. The latter recites the same words that the former otherwise does for people to follow him, transferring all the information about the rebirth process to his mind. After confirming that everything is clear and a bit of banter, Yun Xiao prepares to start. However, he asks the old entity to hand over the spirit-nourishing wood first. The tree spirit readily gives it to the boy, putting his mind at ease about Mengwu's life. At last, Yun Xiao brings out the projection of the true fire of life to start the process, and follows the old being's lead without any mistakes. Soon, the tree spirit no longer needs his body and transfers all the soul qi within it to the reincarnated soul, rapidly advancing him up to a 6-star great martial master. Feeling refreshed, Yun Xiao starts mewing like a cat. However, his state of nirvana is disrupted by Hung Yuan's appearance. Charging at the boy, the now peak 1-star martial emperor demands to be compensated for the cultivation level he has lost ever since his arrival and prepares to forcefully take it back. Declaring that 3 powers realm trash, like Yun Xiao doesn't deserve the Kumgo divine tree's soul qi, Hung Yuan charges forward, fully prepared to kill him in one blow. However, the idiot remains unaware that he came an hour too early for his assault to be effective. Forming a triangular sign with his hands, and then clapping them together, Yun Xiao sends the peak 1-star martial emperor flying into the distance. He then recites a poem, detailing the true fire of life's characteristics, unleashing it in all its glory. The ancient true soul phoenix's flames bloom like a beautiful yet deadly flower, resulting in a fiery existence that can burn anything and everything, even a person's very soul. Hung Yuan realizes this, and he also notices the scary tree spirit behind Yun Xiao. Not willing to throw away his life for some soul qi, the peak 1-star martial emperor decides to retreat. Of course, he doesn't forget to curse the boy on the way out. Generational hater. Moments later, the tree spirit gets burned by the phoenix's flames and bids farewell to Yun Xiao, promising to see him after their rebirth. Erupting into blue flames, the reincarnated soul goes into free fall, soon dissipating like specks of dust. Meanwhile, the razor clams notice that the Kumgo divine tree's soul qi has disappeared, and they furiously go on a search to find the culprits. Elsewhere, Da Lei informs the Hoverbats tribe's Lord Wei Shi of the events that have transpired and begs for his help. However, the latter angrily refuses to help the former, reminding him that the Razor Clan tribe dying off has nothing to do with him, since this was never in their agreement. Not wanting to offend Wei Shi with his words, Da Lei starts groveling and mentions that letting the intruders run wild will result in the divine tree dying, rendering him unable to cultivate as well. These words hit the mark, as Wei Shi seemingly gets ready to help the razor clams. Of course, he doesn't do so without leaving them with a few harsh words. Hearing that the Lord of the Hoverbat tribe is ready to help them, Da Lei repeatedly starts thanking him. Prostrating before Wei Shi, the razor clam showers him with endless praises, only to get a blade put to his neck. His worshipping soon turns into whimpers as he begs not to be killed. Wei Shi isn't someone who fights for free. Since the supply of soul chi suddenly stopped during an important stretch in his cultivation, he is overcome with rage. To make up for it, Wei Shi absorbs Da Lei's martial emperor-level cultivation into his own body, leaving the razor clam completely drained like a dead piece of wood. At the same time, Duan Yuwei's group finishes up the battle with the razor clam tribe's martial emperors. Although they emerge victorious, all three of them are completely exhausted. So Tia Pin asks Duan Yue and Tia Fan to leave with Tia Ling first, deciding to wait for the holy emissary there. The old man wonders where Yun Xiao is, fearing that he's dead. Right then, Tia Fei arrives there and announces that their holy emissary is definitely alive. After all, he has brought Tia Ling with him, who has advanced to a third-tier marine refiner. While the father and daughter celebrate a breakthrough, Tia Fan tells Tia Pin to look at Tia Fei, who has also become a peak 9-star martial grandmaster. Witnessing this sight, the tribe chief erupts into tears and thanks the heavens for sending the holy emissary to help his people. Duan Yue wonders why they don't just use the opportunity to keep cultivating quickly here, getting informed by Tia Ling that the soul chi within the Congo divine tree has completely disappeared. This makes the old man question if it has something to do with Yun Xiao. That's the secret cap. It always does. Have to do with who? These words fall on the entire group with soul-crushing pressure, as Wei Shi arrives there to interrogate them about what has happened to the Congo divine tree, despite getting crushed under the Martial Supreme's aura, which leaves even Duan Yue trembling in fear. Tia Pin refuses to back down and calls him out for conspiring with the razor clams. However, Wei Shi just repeats the same lecture about the strong possessing such items that Da Lei gave him earlier, promising to annihilate the entire Blaze Fish tribe if he'll get him his soul chi back. Insisting that they don't know what happened, Tia Pin begs Wei Shi to spare everyone else and offers himself up as a sacrifice. Asking for mercy, the tribe chief reminds him of the offerings that the Blazefish tribe has given to the Hoverbats for the past 10,000 years. At the same time, Duan Yue's curse seal reappears, sending him back to the 7-star martial grandmaster level, declaring that the Blazefish tribe's lifetime worth of offerings can't compare to a single day's worth of the Congo divine tree's effects. Wei Shi lifts Tia Pin in the air and threatens to kill him if no one speaks up. Right as the Hoverbat is about to absorb the Martial Emperor as a supplement, a comforting voice echoes throughout the area, demanding that Wei Shi release Tia Pin. The voice promises to tell him the reason why the soul chi disappeared. Hearing it, Duan Yue and the sea folk smile, while the Hoverbat looks around in a panic and demands to know the voice's identity, having failed to notice him creeping up even at his cultivation level. In true Yun Xiao fashion, he announces that his identity is unimportant. Regardless, Wei Shi can have the soul chi that he wants as long as he stays alive to take it, of course. With these words, countless bursts and waves of the true Phoenix's flames rain down in the region, surrounding it in a sphere of fire. Even the Martial Supreme is unable to withstand its power and tries to focus all his energy on getting out, only to fail miserably. The instant he touches the circle of fire while trying to escape, Wei Shi starts getting devoured by the true fire of life, unable to comprehend what is happening to him. In his last words, the Martial Supreme struggles and shouts, refusing to accept his reality. Just like that, a Martial Supreme who commanded the region for over 400 years perishes in the Phoenix's flames, remaining unaware of the identity of the person who sent him to his demise. Yun Xiao soars throughout the sea, wreaking havoc on the razor clams. The Phoenix's divine flames burn the very souls of the enemy, all the while encircling Duan Yue, Tia Pin, Tia Fan, Tia Ling, and Tia Fei to protect them. Even on his last breaths, the tribe chief is overcome with joy and celebrates that the divine fire has graced them in his lifetime. The Razor Clan tribe is going through entirely different emotions at the moment, though, as their forces dwindle down with each passing second, unable to run away from the rampant flames. This scene reaches the Blazefish tribe's home place, leaving them questioning why the Congo divine tree has gone up in flames and abandoned them. Meanwhile, on the surface of the sea, two members of the Blazefish tribe are on patrol, discussing the events of the past few days. Suddenly, the water below them starts to gurgle and boil. With each passing second, it gets hotter and hotter, forcing them to run for their lives. Moments later, a huge geyser of the true soul phoenix, a terrifying flame, erupts from the sea. The patrollers try to make sense of what's going on, but the sight they witness next leaves them lost for words. From the spot where the fire erupted, the entire sea has been split apart, as if Moses himself walked through it, though real ones remember that a Beyblade actually did it. Elsewhere, thousands of miles away in the deep South Sea, Qin, the Lord of the South Sea, is cultivating. Suddenly, he stops, overcome with a feeling that a powerful warrior has entered his domain. Calling forth the sea-taming Yaksha, Qin orders him to go north to investigate the source of the extraordinary power. Wary of this mysterious entity, the former instructs the latter to report back immediately without offending the powerful person. Several days later, at the location of the Kumbo Divine Tree, several members of the Blazefish tribe gather to discuss their next move. Turns out, the fire has been burning for 3 days and 3 nights straight, drying up its surrounding seawater. Not only that, they haven't heard from Tia Pin ever since either, making them wonder if they should leave the area entirely. Meanwhile, inside the burning Kumbo Divine Tree, the Sea Folk and Dumon Yue are on the end of their ropes. The old man wonders if Yun Xiao ended up burning himself to death, but Tia Pin is convinced that nothing bad can happen to their holy emissary. Tia Ling agrees, considering the divine flames would have consumed them by now if no one was controlling them. Regardless, Duan Yue doesn't feel relieved at all, since they would all die if the Phoenix's fire keeps burning like this for much longer. As if he triggered an event by uttering these words, the seawater starts flooding back in. Moments later, the divine flames slowly dissipate, taking the Kungo Divine Tree with them. At the center of all this, Tia Pin spots Yun Xiao, who is burning like the true soul phoenix itself. Suddenly, the reincarnated soul demands the person spying on him in the void to show themselves. Respectfully asking Yun Xiao to calm down by referring to him as his lord, the sea-taming Yaksha inquires about his entity, carefully choosing his tone and words. Instantly recognizing him, the boy tells the sea-taming Yaksha to get lost. Hearing the former's words, the latter is left in disbelief. Despite Yun Xiao's cultivation only being at the martial lord level, the aura and pressure he exerts makes the soul of the one-star martial sovereign tremble, convincing him that his true strength is far beyond what he is showing off. What's more concerning is the fact that Yun Xiao recognized him as the sea-taming Yaksha. Remembering Qin Ming's explicit orders not to offend the powerful person, the one-star martial sovereign practically begs the reincarnated soul to reveal his name so they can report back to his lord. However, Yun Xiao refuses, declaring that Qin Ming better come ask him himself if he really wants to know who he is that badly. The boy goes a step further, promising that the sea-taming Yaksha will stay there forever if he doesn't leave within 3 breaths. With these words, Yun Xiao starts enveloping him with the phoenix's divine flames. Understanding that such experts actually follow through with their eccentric threats, the one-star martial sovereign doesn't want to die needlessly and retreats. Once again asking Yun Xiao to calm down, the sea-taming Yaksha breaks through the void and escapes to report the situation to the Sea King. After the one-star martial sovereign leaves, the boy wipes the sweat off his forehead and breathes a sigh of relief, having somehow managed to fool such a powerful entity. Stretching like a reborn cat, Yun Xiao feels glad that there was still some residue of the true fire of life to scare off the sea-taming Yaksha. Suddenly, his body starts to crack. Yun Xiao's entire body shatters, revealing a crimson demon-like build underneath. With this, he unlocks the second stage of the tyrant body tempering technique, the Unending tyrant physique. Not only can the boy now match a martial lord in strength without using any true chi, but he is also a 4 quadrants realm martial lord in cultivation now, getting him ever closer to his past glory. Right then, Duan Yue and the others come up to the reincarnated soul looking all barbecued, confirming that the being who appeared earlier was the sea-taming Yaksha of the Crystal Quartz Palace. Tia Pin is left in shock. He can't believe that his hopeless emissary managed to stand his ground against the 9 Heavens realm martial sovereign of the Yaksha tribe and scared him off with only one scolding, considering they are second-tier beings only behind the royal tribes in status. Duan Yue can't believe that a 4-star great martial master managed to scare off a 1-star martial sovereign, instantly catching himself. upon noticing that the boy is somehow a martial lord now. Observing his body closely, Duan Yue refuses to accept that someone can skip through an entire realm in this world and asks to be hit to see if he's dreaming. Of course, Li Yun Xiao gladly fulfills the old man's request and sends him flying with a punch to the face. He doesn't even use any true chi, blowing away the 7-star martial grandmaster with the tyrant body strength alone. Nah, we gotta find someone thicker than Lizzo to describe bro's plot armor now. Complaining about the punch hurting him, Duan Yue starts crying at Li Yun Xiao's logic-defying cultivation speed, since it is unfair to normal people like him. Ignoring the geezer, the reincarnated soul instructs everyone to hurry out of there. After all, not only will the seawater come flooding back in soon, but the sea-taming yaksha might return with Qinming too. Hearing the Sea King's name, the scaredy fishes rush out of there, leaving Duan Yue behind to get blasted by a powerful vortex. Even Li Yun Xiao bursts into a sweat, realizing that the seabed that the Kumgo divine tree used to be rooted on is about to collapse and suck them in. Sometime later, things settle down, and the reincarnated soul pops back out of the strong whirlpool without suffering any damage at all. Feeling impressed by the unyielding tyrant physique at first, Li Yun Xiao quickly gets worried about the others and focuses on finding them with his universal detect. In the process, he spots an injured Hung Yuan running away and rushes after him to finish the job. The 2-star martial emperor tries to scare Li Yun Xiao with the 3 realms of cultivation difference between them, only to fail miserably. With relentless abandon, the reincarnated soul continues to chase after Hung Yuan, using his tiger husk sword, right as the latter tries to wrap his head around how a measly martial lord was uninjured by the earlier whirlpool. The realization hits him that the former was just a 1-star great martial master a few days ago. In Hung Yuan's shocked state, Li Yun Xiao closes the distance between them and cuts up his face, continuously talking down on the 2-star martial emperor for running away from a mere martial lord. Li Yun Xiao prepares to unleash his Lotus Sword Song, Zero Respect style, to finish him off. Right then, Tiandang calls for Li Yun Xiao in tears. Worried that her father isn't going to make it, she begs the holy emissary to help him. Despite Hung Yuan still having the violet 9-strike muth that he won't be able to get back after this moment, Li Yun Xiao decides to abandon the chase and approaches Tia Pin, making Tiandang hopeful. Elsewhere, Jia Rong decides to watch our recaps to keep up with the story. Upon finding out that his master is cheating on him by making Duan Yue his idiotic servant, the poor refiner cries out. While Tiandang begs for his help, Li Yun Xiao simply pulls out a robe from his storage ring and clothes himself. Announcing that no one can escape nature, the boy reveals that Tia Pin has truly hit his limit and only another Kumgo divine tree would save him. Tiandang falls into despair, getting comforted by her dying father. Regretting the mistakes he has made in his life, the tribe chief just feels relieved the heavens sent the holy emissary to help him repent for some of them. These words make the 3 sea folk erupt into tears as they praise their tribe chief for being the best one that's ever lived. Suddenly, Tia Pin falls to the ground. Edging ever closer to death, the martial emperor feels glad that he saw everyone grow to such a level with his own eyes, and formally appoints Tia Fan as the new Blazefish tribe chief. Unable to contain his emotions, Tia Fan lashes out at first, but honors Tia Pin's dying wish in the end, promising to protect the Blazefish tribe with all his might. With this, the dying martial emperor makes Tiandang an elder to support the new tribe chief. He then thanks the holy emissary, leaving the Blazefish tribe in his care. However, Li Yun Xiao regretfully informs him that he will return to Tianwu soon, but vows to take care of them, if fate allows it, leaving Tia Fei and Tia Fan trembling with rage. Of course, Tia Pin understands his situation and declares that the holy emissary will always be a respect-worthy friend of the Blazefish tribe, no matter what. Gritting their teeth, Tia Fei and Tia Fan promise to heed his words. Just like that, Tia Pin peacefully leaves for the afterlife. This is enough to make a grown fish cry. Right then, Li Yun Xiao bids his farewell to the group, enraging Tia Fan. He utters some harsh words, feeling infuriated that the boy didn't even try to lie about staying behind, so that Tia Pin could leave in peace. Unfazed, the reincarnated soul proclaims that the Blazefish tribe's future is in their own hands now, and questions if Tia Fan really wants to leave it to an outsider. The new tribe chief notes that he trusts the holy emissary to be her ally, getting told that this trust is the very reason he can't lie to them. Right then, Tiandang screams out, wishing to learn the art of refinement from Yun Xiao. This time, he doesn't flat out refuse. Instead, the boy wants the marine refiner to come and look for him when the Blazefish tribe settles down. Introducing himself as the martial Flame City Lord, Li Yun Xiao pets Tiandang and gives her his address to find him. With this, the third-tier marine refiner vows to eventually come to Martial Flame City and learn his refinement techniques. Hearing this, Yun Xiao gives her some words of encouragement, declaring that a time will come when she becomes an exceptional marine refiner in the four seas, surpassing even Haas, Shelley, and An's son. The reincarnated soul knowing about them shocks the sea folk, as those three are treated like gods in the four seas. Of course, Yun Xiao deems them to be just three old geezers, and doesn't feel that Tiandang has any less talent than any of them. With this, Yun Xiao gets ready to leave for the surface with a smile, feeling that the things he experienced there in just a few days are comparable to his past life. Unaware of what the boy has gone through during his time there, Duan Yue is surprised that he is willing to leave a place filled with treasures so easily. Suddenly, Tianfei and Tiandang kneel before Yun Xiao and the old man, while Tiandang bows, thanking them for all they have done for the Blazefish tribe in the past few days, since getting lost in the vast region is quite easy. Tianfei offers to lead them to the surface. Yun Xiao gladly accepts, riding out of the sea on a water ball that he takes a liking to. While Duan Yue and the boy banter, Tianfei announces that they have arrived at the place where they first met, wondering where the holy emissary will go now. Not knowing when the rainbow fog will appear, Yun Xiao wants to wait for it and decides to rest on a nearby island. Wishing him a safe journey, Tianfei bids the holy emissary farewell and heads back to the deep sea. Seeing the Blazefish leave, Yun Xiao is overcome with a sense of irony. In his past life, the reincarnated soul's hands were stained with the blood of countless sea folk. But now, he has gotten so close to one of their race. Duan Yue dismisses the boy's profound thoughts as just him having the hots for the beautiful fishes, getting Uno reversed in an instant. Oh, this poor old soul just doesn't learn his lesson, does he? Duan Yue gets verbally obliterated by the evil Yun Xiao, and is left to take out his frustrations on the creatures of the island. While the old man runs off, the reincarnated soul takes a look at the glowing item in his hand. A wide smile appears across Yun Xiao's face as the reborn Kumgo divine tree is now in his possession. And so, the second saga comes to a rousing conclusion, self-blaze. But this series is so peak.